And now, BX Forever presents another RPG deep dive.
Welcome back, everyone. Today we're diving into a world of magic and monsters. Peril at the Rock.
Ooh, I like where this is going.
We're going to crack open a 4-part adventure series, actually.
Oh, okay, cool.
Focusing on this place called the Rock.
The Rock, huh?
Yeah, crumbling wizard towers, portals to other dimensions,
Oh!
and, of course, impending doom.
You know, you can't have a good fantasy story without that.
Exactly right.
So what's so special about this rock?
Well, it used to be this powerful wizard's tower, but it's built on this,
Like on a rock?
well, yeah, but it's not a normal rock.
There's got to be a catch.
And you know what they say, right?
Yeah.
Where there's a wizard, there's a way for things to go terribly wrong.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, those wizards and their magical mishaps.
And this time, the trouble's brewing in another dimension.
Another dimension. Sounds serious.
It's called Nazgore.
Nazgorean. It's getting chills already.
And this rock, it has a tear, in reality, a portal connected to Nazgore.
Now, how did that happen? Did some wizard mess up?
You know, there are whispers about this guy, Eldarian.
Eldarian. Classic wizard name.
He was messing with portal magic, might have bitten off more than he could chew.
Classic Eldarian move, I bet.
But then, this other wizard shows up, Deimos Morian.
Deimos Morian. Interesting.
Yeah, he has a deed to the rock given by the king.
Thing's official.
And he builds this glass domed structure right on top.
Like he's trying to contain something?
Exactly. But then, Deimos disappears, leaving behind all his research.
Oh, so now we have a missing wizard too. This is getting good.
And get this, there's a prophecy about a total solar eclipse.
Uh-oh. Never a good sign.
This could permanently open the tear.
Talk about a ticking time bomb.
So we have a dimensional tear, a missing wizard, and a prophecy of doom. And our adventurers are thrown right into it with the eclipse just 2 weeks away.
That's cutting it close.
Yeah, no kidding. And the first sign that things are going south, Frogman.
Like actual frogmen.
Yeah, but not the friendly kind.
Let me guess. They're terrorizing a peaceful village somewhere.
You got it. North of Wolvenmere, raiding the trade route.
Sounds like a classic setup.
The villagers, terrified, point our heroes towards the rock.
Makes sense. Gotta find the source of the problem.
And they even give them this rough map, sketched on a napkin.
Napkin map. Love it.
It shows a dungeon beneath the rock, circular layout, leading up to the glass dome at the top.
So that's where the real adventure begins.
Yeah. And inside,
Yeah.
all sorts of creepy crawlies from Nazgore.
Give me the rundown. What kind of creatures are we talking?
Well, there's this room full of broken statues, another one with weird broken machinery.
Broken statues, huh? Makes you wonder what happened there.
Right, like were they guardians or something?
Maybe a battle or some ancient ritual gone wrong.
Ooh, good point. And then there's this one room that has this alien jelly monster.
Okay, that's just gross.
I know, right? And it's just oozing around in a puddle.
No thank you.
And then there's the gray render. The source material describes it as
Hold on, gray render. That sounds ominous.
this terrifying, eyeless, toad-like thing. He uses sound to hunt.
So basically, if you make a peep, you're dead meat.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Not something I'd want to bump into in the dark.
Oh, kidding. But hey, maybe they find some cool treasure down there too, right?
Oh, they do. There's a secret room with powerful arrows and a potion of flying.
Ooh, that's handy. Sounds like someone was preparing for something big.
Right. Like maybe Eldarian was trying to escape something, or maybe he was up to something even more ambitious with these portals.
Or maybe he just really liked flying. We might never know.
And they find a library, too, with this mysterious parchment.
What's so special about this parchment?
It talks about a way to reach Nazgore and mentions something called the Remnant.
The remnant. Now that's intriguing.
All right, I'm dying to know what that is.
Yeah, it's like a breadcrumb trail leading to something bigger.
Definitely adds another layer to the mystery.
So where do they end up? Does this parchment lead them anywhere?
Well, they eventually reach the final room, the one with the tear itself.
The tear, the portal to Nazgore. What's it like?
The air hums with energy. There's a message scrawled on the wall.
A message. What does it say?
It says that no mortal power can seal the tear.
Wow, that's a bit of a downer, isn't it?
Yeah, talk about a challenge.
So what do they do? They can't just give up, can they?
It's definitely a chilling reminder that they're facing something beyond their comprehension.
So what now? They're going to need more than swords and spells to deal with this.
Sounds like they need a miracle or two.
A miracle. Now that would be interesting.
Well, they were about to embark on a quest for one.
Oh, this is just getting better and better. Tell me more.
Our heroes realize they need help, and not just from any old wizard.
So where do they go? Who do they turn to?
Well, they're about to embark on a quest to find Divine intervention.
Divine intervention. Now we're talking. This is going to be epic.
The big step, going from fighting frogmen to seeking help from the gods. No mortal power can seal the tear. It's a pretty clear sign.
They need a miracle, basically.
And so their quest takes them out of the dungeon and into the wider world.
Out of the frying pan and into the fire, maybe?
Well, yeah, kind of. Their destination is the Hilltop Abbey.
The Hilltop Abbey. I've heard whispers about this place.
It's this mysterious abbey nestled high in the hills east of Wolvenmere.
Sounds peaceful, a nice change of pace after that creepy dungeon.
It's definitely a classic quest narrative, a journey into the unknown, searching for answers.
But hey, at least they're not facing those dangers alone.
Oh, you mean those creepy crawlies from Nazgore?
Well, those and, the usual hazards of wilderness travel.
Actually, this is where the source material throws in a fun detail.
Fun. What, did they find a magical shortcut?
Not exactly, but it's practical. They use donkeys to carry supplies and navigate the terrain.
Donkeys! Seriously?
Yep, donkeys. It's not exactly the image of epic heroes, is it?
No, not really. But it makes sense. It's a long journey.
And it adds a bit of humor to the situation, imagining these adventures on donkeys, facing down all sorts of weird creatures.
Yeah, I can see it. The donkey just casually munching grass while a monster roars in the background.
Exactly. And speaking of monsters, they might encounter barklings on their journey.
Barklings. Now, those are intriguing creatures.
They're these mysterious beings, very distrustful of other races.
I wonder why. What made them so wary of outsiders?
It's a good reminder that even in a fantastical world, every creature has its own story.
Right. And their own motivations. These encounters aren't just random. They force the players to make choices.
Exactly. Fight, flee, negotiate. Each choice has consequences.
It's all about strategy, weighing the risks and rewards.
So how do they find this Hilltop Abbey? Do they have a map?
Not in the traditional sense. The source material emphasizes observation and deduction.
So they have to pay attention to clues, like smoke from the Abbey chimneys. Or maybe they meet someone who can point them in the right direction.
Right. A traveler, a hermit, maybe even a talking animal.
It's like a real-world scavenger hunt. You have to use your wits.
It emphasizes the importance of being present, of listening to the world around you.
So what's the Abbey like? Is it this peaceful sanctuary they were hoping for?
Well, it's described as a place of contrasts. There's a sense of peace and tranquility, the monks chanting, gardens overflowing with flowers, a refuge from the chaos.
Sounds idyllic, almost like a dream.
But there's this underlying tension. The monks know about the threat from Nazgore. They know the eclipse is more than just a celestial event.
So they're living in the shadow of this prophecy, preparing for a battle they might not win.
It adds another layer to their way of life, doesn't it? They're not just seeking enlightenment. They're guardians of something ancient and powerful.
And the leader of this order, Abbot Zericus, he's a staunch believer in the old religion.
The old religion, what's that all about?
It's a polytheistic faith, with Rodanu, the sun god, and Thale, the earth goddess, at the head.
So they have many gods. Interesting.
And they're preparing for a special ceremony to observe the eclipse, which they see as a cosmic battle between Vanalu, the moon god, and his father, Rodanu.
Wow. That's a very different way of looking at an eclipse.
It makes you wonder how their beliefs shape their understanding of the world, how they reconcile the existence of other dimensions with their faith.
Right. It's a clash of perspectives, a reminder that different cultures interpret things differently.
But remember Oblate Paractus, that monk who seemed a bit shifty?
Oh, yeah, the one who was trying to avoid work. What about him?
Turns out he's not just lazy, he's a thief in disguise.
A thief? In a monastery? What's he doing there?
It's the classic wolf in sheep's clothing scenario, right?
But why? Is he seeking redemption, or is he after something specific?
And while exploring the Abbey dungeon, because, every good Abbey needs a dungeon,
Of course, it's a classic.
Paractus accidentally unleashes a group of creatures called hivelings from a trapped mirror.
Hivelings? I don't think I've encountered those before.
Imagine a swarm of tiny insect-like creatures, but they act as a single entity.
Okay, that's creepy. What do they do?
They share hit points, steal magical items, and basically cause chaos wherever they go.
It sounds like a handful. So now the adventurers have another problem to deal with.
It adds a new layer of complexity, doesn't it?
Uh,
Do they help the monks deal with this infestation, or do they focus on their quest knowing time is running out?
Tough choices. But wait, didn't you mention something about ancient treasures entrusted to the Abbey?
Ah, you have a good memory. Remember that story about High Prince Ethelred of the Elves?
The one who gave the Abbey dangerous magical items for safekeeping.
Exactly. Turns out it wasn't just a legend. There's a secret storeroom beneath the abbey, hidden for centuries, containing those very items.
And among them, you said, is a miracle scroll.
That's right. Could this be the answer to their prayers?
A miracle scroll, what does it do?
It's basically a prayer to Rodanu and Thale, the chief gods, which allows the cleric who reads it to perform a miracle.
So they can just wish for anything they want.
Not exactly. The miracle has to align with the god's will.
Ah, there's a catch.
It's about surrendering to a higher purpose, not about personal gain.
So it's a powerful tool, but they have to use it wisely.
Exactly. But will the gods choose to intervene? Or is there another path, another test that the adventurers must face?
So many possibilities. This is what makes the story so compelling.
That's where we leave our heroes, at a crossroads.
The eclipse is coming, the hivelings are running amok, and the miracle scroll offers a glimmer of hope, but with conditions.
Will they find the courage and wisdom to navigate these challenges? Crossroads, huh? Tough choices.
Yeah, responsibility to the monks versus the fate of the world.
It's a classic dilemma.
For sure, individual needs versus the greater good.
So what do they choose?
Well, the source material hints that they go for the greater good.
They head back to the rock, miracle scroll in hand.
Makes sense. Gotta prioritize saving the world.
But those donkeys.
What about them? Did they decide to stay at the Abbey?
Turns out they don't like being rushed.
Stubborn donkeys, huh?
So our heroes have to trek back on foot, racing against the eclipse.
And probably watching out for more of those Nazgorean creatures.
Oh, definitely. And the eclipse is still happening.
Right.
Unnatural chill settling over the land.
Creepy.
Even the animals are acting strangely.
Sensing the disruption, I guess.
Yeah, like the whole world knows something's wrong.
It really emphasizes the cosmic scale of it all.
And our heroes are right in the middle of it.
We're trying to hold back the tide.
When they get back to the rock, it's not a pretty sight.
I bet it's even creepier than before.
The dungeon feels heavier, darker.
Like the walls are closing in.
Do they run into any familiar foes on their way back to the rift?
The source material doesn't say for sure.
But it wouldn't be surprising.
No, not at all. The dungeon's a living thing. It's probably reacting to the eclipse too.
So the stakes are even higher now.
Every step is a gamble.
And when they finally reach the chamber with the rift,
What's it like?
it's changed. The rift's bigger now, almost reaching the floor,
Oh no, that can't be good.
and something's emerging from it.
What? Like what kind of something?
The source material calls it a multi-headed Nazgorean creature.
Okay, that sounds terrifying. How many heads are we talking?
5, each on a long, slimy neck.
That's the stuff of nightmares.
Eyeless, pale gray skin, rows of sharp teeth.
It's like the embodiment of chaos.
It's a visual representation of the threat they're facing.
So what do? Do they just stand there and gawk at it?
They stand their ground.
They've come this far, they're not giving up now?
This is it, the final showdown.
Do they use the miracle scroll?
That's the big question.
It's their trump card, but they have to use it wisely.
The miracle works according to the will of the gods.
So they can't just command divine intervention.
They have to act in a way that aligns with a higher purpose.
It's a reminder that even when facing impossible odds, faith and free will are connected.
The outcome isn't predetermined. It's shaped by their choices.
And that's where the source material leaves us.
It hints at victory, but it also raises more questions.
Like what happened to Deimos Morion?
And what about the remnant?
And what about the long-term consequences of the invasion?
So many possibilities, so many threads left hanging.
It's been an incredible journey, this deep dive.
We've explored a world of magic and monsters, faced impossible choices.
We've learned about courage, sacrifice, and faith.
But the biggest question is, what would you do?
Would you have the courage to face the unknown, to fight for what's right?
Even when the odds are stacked against you.
It's a question worth pondering.
And it's a reminder that even though this is a fantasy story,
The themes are universal.
it's about facing our fears, making tough choices, finding hope in the darkness.
And believing in something greater than ourselves.
That's something to think about.
And with that, our deep dive into Peril at the Rock comes to an end. But the adventure doesn't have to stop here. Grab your dice, gather your party, and get ready to face the perils that await. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.
We'll see you in the next deep dive.